Penguin Audio presents Do the Right Thing, written and read by me, Mike Huckabee. I Love Iowa, January 3rd, 2008. The little Beechcraft King Air C-90 plane was dark, loud, and miserably cold as it bounced through thick snow clouds on its way to Waterloo in eastern Iowa. Janet, my wife of 34 years, sat across the aisle to my left. Facing her was Alice Stewart, my press secretary, who had served in my final year and a half in the Arkansas governor's office before joining my campaign. In the back was Drake Duck Jarman, my assistant, and a constant presence at my side during the campaign, as well as David John, a recent graduate of Liberty University who had interned for me during his college days and was now aboard the campaign as Janet's travel assistant. We'd been pretty apprehensive about making the trip, knowing that it would take us away from Des Moines on the very night of our post-caucus party. The weather had been miserable for weeks, and we feared getting grounded by bad weather and then missing our own event. But we decided we had to go to make one last pitch to Iowans in the corner of the state on caucus night. I was so cold that I kept my gloves on and huddled within my topcoat for what warmth I could muster. The turbulence was unnerving even for us road warriors who travel every day in every kind of aircraft and in every kind of weather. After we landed, I really began to seriously doubt the wisdom of making the trip. Traffic into the caucus site at the Central Middle School was so backed up that we ended up parking 200 yards from the door and then carefully and artfully picking our way across the icy grounds to the entrance. All of this effort for a 7-minute speech to persuade the last of some undecided voters that I was their guy for president. After my speech, we had to struggle back to the airport. The car we were supposed to use was hopelessly blocked in, so we ended up asking a total stranger on the outskirts of the parking lot if he could drive us to the airport. He was a college student home for Christmas break, and he agreed to help us out so we could get to our frozen fuselage and head back to Des Moines. Whatever glory and glamour that was supposed to accompany running for president had escaped us that night. Another night without dinner, in the shivering cold, stranded in traffic, and with no one in particular to complain to who really cared. As we made our way back, I couldn't help but think of the dramatic contrast from earlier days in Iowa when we struggled to round up a handful of faithful or even curious on a hot summer day leading up to the Iowa straw poll. It had been as hot then as this night was cold, but tonight it was not a straw anything. It was for real. I was either going forward or going home. Our ragtag team had worked their hearts out. You'll meet many of them in these pages. Others, like Aspen Allen of Orange and Susan Gaddis of Indianola, had pretty much worked full-time and beyond. They had worked for us and multiplied themselves 100 times over. Pastors like Brad Sherman and Terry Amon had stepped out in a very bold and daring way to enlist not only pastors, but activists throughout the state to help us. They'd worked with our campaign manager of Iowa, Eric Wilson, our Iowa field director, Wes Enos, and Iowa campaign chair Bob Vanderplatz, and co-chair Danny Carroll to build the effort from the ground up. By the time we were on our final approach to Des Moines, we were more than an hour late. As we neared the runway, all our BlackBerries found towers within range and lit up with newfound signals. My BlackBerry is set to vibrate when I get a new message, and I can't recall ever having such an unbroken vibration. We were all racing to read what must have been some very urgent messages. The sight of the four of us frantically scrolling through the messages was a photo that Drake couldn't resist. So he took the digital camera that he kept in his pocket and snapped the first photo of literally thousands that would be taken that night of the man who had just won the Iowa caucuses. I was about the last person in America to learn the breaking news of the evening, that the Associated Press and most of the networks had declared me the winner of the caucuses. They had made the announcement while I was trying to find warmth inside my coat, my face pulled down and my shoulders hunched.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?